When you think about currency, the word currency, where does your mind automatically go? If you're anything like me, it goes to money. And in our modern world, that is what makes sense, because when we talk about currency, we're usually talking about money. But I've come to realize something that has completely changed my worldview. It's changed how I view everything. And that is that we are thinking about currency all wrong. And I'm not even talking about currency as being health and the things in life that actually matter. While I do think those things are currency, and that's probably the most valuable currency that we all have, including time, I'm talking about something much deeper than that. And adopting this mindset has completely shifted my perspective on everything. And what I believe that is, what I believe currency truly is, what I know currency truly is it is us. We are currency. We are currency that is being exploited and used. It is not money. It is not paper. It is not coins. It is not numbers on a screen. It is the people. We are the currency. And I'm going to give you many examples that is going to prove this point. And I think this is very, very important, because when you understand this, it is going to lift the veil from your eyes and allow you to see the truth. Because everything in our modern world, it all ties back to us. And I think that's very important, because it also allows us to realize that we are the ones that hold the power. Without the currency, the whole system collapses. The more time that we put into the system, the more that we work, the more that we consume, the more that we take part in what I would call modern society and do all the things that society tells us to do, to succumb to the pressures of society and to fall in line. That is more of ourselves that we're giving up. That is more of our time that we're giving up. We are giving our labor to the job. We are giving our time to the job. We are giving our attention to things like social media and the internet and AI. And that is the way the whole system is set up. From birth, we are thrown into the public education system. The education system revolves around us getting a job and falling as a cog into the machine. The things that we are taught in school become our beliefs. And when we believe something to be true, our behaviors conform to that idea. And that in turn creates our reality. That is essentially manifestation. Manifestation is not some woo-woo term that the galaxy and the universe bends to our will when we want something bad enough. That is not how it works. How it actually works is that we believe something to be true, we ingrain that in our minds, and that shapes our reality, because we start to act in a way that conforms to that idea. That is manifestation. And that is essentially what we're taught in school. We're taught manifestation, but we're manifesting the wrong stuff. We're manifesting this reality that uses us as the product, that uses us as the currency. It is us that keeps everything going. And I think it's high time we realize that, because if we don't realize that, we'll never realize that we actually do hold all the power. That if we want something to change, all it takes is us. It takes us changing our beliefs, changing our behaviors. And it starts with ideas like this, that money is not the thing that keeps us going. It is us that keeps us going. It is the beliefs that we have that tells us to go after the money. It's the beliefs that we have that tells us to work, to get all the stuff that we're told to get, to succumb to consumerism and buy all the materialistic stuff, and to keep ourselves trapped in the system until we're 67 or beyond. And then one day we can get out. Then we can retire. That is what society tells us. These are the beliefs that we have. Therefore, that's the way we act. This is how we live our lives. But the fact of the matter is, there are a lot of people that are very unhappy with the way they're living their lives in the current moment, and they want to escape that system. And that can be a really hard thing to do if you don't change your beliefs. If you don't think about things in this way and realize that it's not about money. Money is not the thing that keeps the world going. It is not where greed comes from. The greed actually stems from the human need to have power. And the human need to have power is to have control over the people, because the people, again, are the product. They are the currency. And you can think about this throughout all of modern history. All the wars that have been fought, that were supposedly fought over money, it wasn't about the money. It was about the power and the control that the people would have if they got the money. The reason AI is coming in and the reason they're scaling it to the moon and they don't care about how much money they're investing into it is because it's not about the money. And I hear this argument all the time. People talking about AI, they're talking about how it's not profitable, so the bubble's going to burst and the whole thing's going to collapse. Those people don't realize that it's never been about the money. They're not putting all this money into AI and building all this infrastructure for it because they care about making a profit. They care about control. Because the country that masters AI, they have control over everything. They have control over the people. Because when you have that much power at your fingertips, you just won the game. Because the person that masters this technology masters the people of the currency. You can see how this is true through every aspect of life. But it's only true in our modern society, in the way that we view things in our current belief system. Because true currency are the things that you can't put a dollar amount on. It's things like health, the natural world around us, love, connection, all these things that aren't really tangible. It's not really about the people, it's about the emotion. That is where true currency lies. But these people at the top, these people that run the system and basically run the world, they have come to realize that their most valuable form of currency is us. And they've come to realize that they can exploit us, our biological needs, our desires, our human traits, to make us fall in line, to make us believe a narrative that is largely made up, so that we keep feeding the system, so that we continue to live in the way that they want us to live. But you know, the fact of the matter is there's a lot of people that are waking up to this fact. And I believe that as more people start to think about things in this way, even more people are going to wake up. And the people at the top, the people running the show, they hate this. They do not want people to wake up. They don't want people to get back to living the way we did in the 1900s or the 1950s or the 70s. They don't want people to be homesteaders. They don't want people going off grid. They don't want people living the van life. Because when you remove yourself from this system, that's less currency that they have. That's less power and control that they have. And again, when you think about it in this way, you'll see that it doesn't tie back to money at all. Money is not the main factor. That's not the driving force behind all the deception, all the greed, all of the negative influence and all the fear mongering and all the stuff that we see in mainstream media and social media and all this stuff that's being pummeled on us every single day. When it comes to all that stuff, all the negative emotion, that's about emotion. And that again is using people as the currency, because the more emotion that we feed into the system, that is more of our time that we're giving up. Just start thinking about it. Think about things in life that you're not happy with and drill it down. Really dissect it. And you'll see that it all ties back to the people. But that's the beauty of this whole situation, and that's the beauty of realizing this, is that when you do realize it, you'll also realize that escaping that and not being the currency in the system is as simple as removing yourself from that system as much as you possibly can. And you don't have to remove yourself from it entirely. As a matter of fact, that's going to be almost impossible for most people to do in the modern world, because in a lot of cases we're very reliant on it, and it's bled into our lives in almost every aspect. So it's going to be hard to completely step outside of that. But I think the less reliant we can make ourselves on this system that is exploiting us, that is less power that they have. That is less influence that they have over our lives. And it can be really easy to think that us as individuals, we don't have the power to make a change, that there's no way that a single person can make a difference. But fact is, there are millions of people right now that are waking up to this. There are millions of people right now that are searching for a way out. And for some people, all it takes is a little nudge. And that nudge is kind of happening by default right now, because people are being pushed near their breaking point. And when you're forced into a corner, you're left with no other options other than look for creative ways that you can escape. And that's what people are doing. And for me personally, my ways to escape have just been thinking about my past and what got me here. How did I live my life 20 years ago, before all this stuff was really a problem? And for me, that has meant focusing on the basics, the simple things. eliminating my debt. That has made me not relying on the system at all, actually. And I would say for most people, that is very, very important, because the moment you eliminate debt, that is very little power that these people have over you. It has also meant connecting with like-minded people, people that think the same way I do and that can relate to these topics, because we're stronger together. And when you have a tribe of like-minded people around you, it's a lot easier to come up with creative ideas to help you escape from the system. I'm also doing everything in my power that I possibly can to remove myself from the system, from the 9-to-5 rat race, from the daily grind, from the hustle culture, and from just falling victim to societal norms. I don't follow trends. I don't keep my face stuck in my phone. I don't get on social media and spend hours and days of my life on there. I don't do a lot of the things that society does. And that has had profoundly positive impacts on my life, because most of societal norms revolve around us as being the currency. It relies on us doing the things that society tells us we should do. So I have found that the further I can get away from that, the more free I become. And everybody's going to have to forge their own path when it comes to this. They're going to have to figure these things out for themselves based off their own life experience, based off their own circumstances, and based on their own internal compass. And I truly believe that the more that you can adopt this mindset and think about things in this way and remove yourself from that system, the more free you're going to become. The less that you're going to be viewed as currency, and you're going to be viewed as an actual living, breathing person, not just a dollar sign.